Welcome to Inside the Mind, a podcast hosted by myself, Jennifer Forster, and my beautiful co-host, Allie. We're excited to be here, diving into edgy, raw, and relatable conversations, woven together with mind-blowing questions that will shake up your model of the world, expand your thinking, unravel your beliefs, tease apart your patterns, and walk you to the very edges of everything you've ever believed about yourself.
As NLP trainers, coaches, entrepreneurs, we will be traversing the topics of business, relationships, money, family, spirituality, leadership, and personal growth, all through the discerning lens of NLP, ancient teachings, and a healthy sprinkling of womanly wisdom. One thing we believe to be true is that if we want a different outcome, we must be willing to ask a different question. And the answers to those questions are always inside the mind.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Inside the Mind. This is my beautiful co-host Allie May and I am Jen Forster. So good to be here with you. Today we're going to dive into what does it mean to be your authentic self in business?
And I like how the energetics of this, you're like your business, you're like your school teacher self today. Hello and welcome. Here we go. We are in today and we are doing business.
Left my glasses on for this one. You'll probably see that sometimes I have my glasses on. This is brilliant. Thank you, unconscious mind. This is a brilliant way to open up this episode. So sometimes I have my glasses on. Sometimes I have my glasses off. It's still me. It's all me, whether I'm wearing my glasses or whether I'm not wearing my glasses. I'm just going to drop right in here, Allie, because this is where I want to go with this. So when you see me on social media, whether you're seeing a photo of me that's been taken at a photo shoot or whether you're seeing me in my sweaty activewear because I've just run a park run or whatever it is still 100% me. So to me, when I speak to my own authenticity in my business is who am I behind closed doors and who am I in the face of the public? And are those two versions of me the same? If you were to walk into my home on any given day or time, are you going to receive the version of me in sweaty activewear or are you going to receive me in an outfit, I happen to have this dress on, that I've worn in an actual photo shoot? That's who you're going to get. That's the version of me that you're going to get. And for me, that's what authenticity in business is. Yeah. And we can go deeper on that.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that it does kind of drive me a little bit crazy. Branding, I think, is important in business. However, if you are creating or trying or attempting to create this persona for yourself that is a persona that doesn't feel like you, then what I would love to offer is that persona is going to take a lot of energy for you to create, even a ton more energy for you to maintain and sustain. Because if that mask falls off one day and someone sees the non-branded version of you, how's that going to come through for you? What's that going to feel like for you? And yeah, I don't know, this whole authenticity in business piece, it kind of just riles me up a little bit because, I don't know, I have this faith in humanity. Call it naive, call it childlike, call it whatever you want. But I have faith in the people that I work with. I have faith in their intelligence. I have faith in their ability to connect and resonate with the truth of who I am. And frankly, I don't want to work with anyone that doesn't have that resonance, that gets me for who I am, because then I get you for who you are as well. I see the importance of branding, and what I am saying is that with branding, make sure that it is actually who you are. Allow those pieces of you that make you you to be part of the brand. What are your thoughts on that?
I think branding is such a fascinating thing. And I mean, when we talk about being your authentic self in business, it's not just branding. It's like, who are you? And I know for myself, when I was fucking broke. And at the start of my online journey, actually I was like a year in or so, when I was in that space and I went into one of my businesses that I have, when I started that, I had no brand. I had nothing fancy. I, was starting to build that side of myself and having a website, not that you need any of that, and was just starting to do those things, but I didn't have anything fancy, nothing fancy. And, I was able to do my first over multi-six figures in a 12-month time frame just by being my authentic self. And then I went off on this adventure and did some deep diving. And what happened for me was when I came back into the online space, I felt like I had to do things different. I really feel like I fucked myself over for a bit there because I started to go into, okay, well, I need to learn how to market. If I want to go to the 7 figures, I need to learn how to market. I need to learn how to do sales. I need to learn how to make this look great. I need to know how to talk to my audience. I need to write a certain way. What if I follow these 4 types of content? Do I need to have this, that, and the other? I've got to follow structure. All the shit that wasn't my natural, like who I naturally was, and all the things that weren't supporting me to get where, all the things that I had not been utilizing previously in business. And I think that, that really did some damage to my mind. I created some beautiful limiting beliefs around business. And now, Jen, our conversation yesterday was really awesome. I had this epiphany a few times for myself. It's like, fuck, exactly what you're saying, like trusting your audience. It's like these days people don't want to be, in my opinion, don't want to be marketed to with bullshit. They don't want to be marketed to or sold to with bullshit. I won't get on a sales call with people and use NLP. NLP can be used manipulatively. We choose not to use NLP manipulatively, and some people can use NLP manipulatively. Gosh, say that 5 times. For me, I like to just have a conversation. If you want to work with me, you want to work with me. If you want to come and do our trainings, you want to come and do our trainings. There's no, let me Jedi you with my marketing skills and my sales skills so that you want to do what I'm doing. And I still think there's a lot of people that buy that way. And I also like that things are changing and people are realizing they can be their true authentic self. So, a lot of people have attempted to do business like I do. It's not going to work for you because you're not me. A lot of people have attempted to do business like, I look at Melanie Ann Leah. There's so many carbon copies of Melanie Ann Leah, but no one's Melanie Ann Leah. Not one person. And if you're going to do things her way, well, she's got a whole different vibration and a whole different energetics. It's not going to work necessarily for you. Plus, you are you. So the key thing here for me is, how do you bring out all the beautiful parts of you? How do you share what your truth is? How do you learn skill sets and learn skill sets purely for learning the skill set, rather than learning the skill set that someone else teaches and trying to be not even trying, and attempting to be a carbon copy of that person? And I think, it's easy to read something that somebody says, read a book or do a training of somebody's and want to be like them. I did it. I paid $95,000 for one of my coaches and she was great. She still is great, and got all these templates and got all of these marketing pieces. And the idea was that we put our own content to the structure of what she gave us. And I found myself going in, like speaking her language. I found myself going into different aspects, thinking that that's what I had to do. It was all unconscious. I wasn't her. It didn't land the same for me because that's not who I naturally am in the way that I speak or the way that I write. We are either leading or following. And when we're constantly following other people, our authenticity in business may not be, or in the online space, may not be as clean, clear, and congruent as what it can be.
I really love this conversation, and I'd love to just lean in on the strategy piece as well now. So
I've got some big thoughts on this.
Yeah. The word strategy in business, particularly in the corporate world. And look, there's social media. You've got to have a social media strategy. You've got to have a marketing strategy. You've got to have an online strategy. You've got to have an offline strategy. You've got an email. There's so many elements in business that require a strategy. And strategy, put simply, is just how we do something. And every single thing that we do on this planet has a strategy. Where I see this being problematic for people, particularly entrepreneurs, if you're an entrepreneur and you've created your own business, is just like you just shared, it's very easy for us to let go of who we are and take on a strategy that somebody has told us is the strategy that you need to have in your life right now. Don't do this strategy anymore. This is the new U-Butte strategy. Here's, to me, the problem with that. Do all strategies work? I believe they do. I actually believe there isn't a strategy on this planet that does not work. However, there's also a ton of strategies on this planet that will not work for you. Why? Because if you don't have an energetic alignment to the strategy is going to land in a sterile way. It's going to have no vibration to it. It's going to have no frequency to it. So a really good example to me for this is if you've ever taken part in or thought about doing this, showing up live on social media every day for a month, and someone told you that was a really good idea for getting over your fear of going live on social media, or this would be how you would, just get your content out there. And you took that on, and yet every single day as you're showing up, you're in the energy of, I just don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But I've got to do it because I said I would tick this off and I'm going to do it. What I'm going to suggest is that energy that is coming through in the I don't want to do this, but I have to because someone told me it's a really good strategy. That energy is what the people that are going to see whatever it is you're doing, that's what they're going to feel from you. And it's like cock blocking ourselves from our people. We've put this invisible barrier in place that we're calling a strategy that's just shutting off who we are from who we're here to connect with. And to me, that is such a disservice to the magic that's inside of you. So if video lights you up, I love video. I love being on video. Why? Because I'm very expressive in my nature and I love to talk and I enjoy it and I've got lots to say. So I love being on video. So video might be a really good strategy for me. Why? Because my energy aligns with it. If you do not like being on video, then I'm going to say adopting video as a strategy for you, no matter how many 30-day challenges you do, is going to be hard work. And that's going to be the experience that your people are going to have as well. So to me, in business, the key thing in business, in being your authentic self, is energy first. Energy first. When I shifted this in my business, everything changed. I don't start my day in my business. I start my day in my energy. I make sure that before I even step into my business, no matter what it is that I'm doing, I make sure that I am in a high energy, high vibration. What does that for me? For me, walking in nature, going out for a walk, going and sitting and having my favorite cup of coffee, having that sacred first sip of coffee in my favorite coffee shop. I write some of my best content when I'm sitting sipping my first coffee in my favorite coffee shop every morning. Is that a strategy that would work for everyone? No, not if coffee doesn't put you in a high vibe state. It would not work.
Definitely
for you.
not me. It puts me in too high vibe of the state.
Doesn't work for Allie. But my point here is figure out what puts you in that high vibration, what puts you in that high level of excitement, what puts you in that state of, man, I'm just feeling so alive. And start anything in your business from that position. That's your authentic self. To me, what is your authentic self in business? It's that. Because what you do from that high vibrational state will land for your soul-aligned clients. They're going to receive you and feel you and want to be with you, want to sip sacred cups of coffee with you, if that's your thing.
Tea for me, Jen.
Tea
thanks.
for me. I only have 1 cup a day. 1 cup of coffee a day, and then I'm a tea girl after that.
There's something that was just coming through for me when you were sharing that. There's a couple of things actually. Everyone's going to tell you that what they do works. Yeah. And that's great. And I'm all for it. Like, I believe so much in what I do. I'm going to tell you it works. I'm going to tell you that I'm going to stand from the rooftops and I'm going to scream, this actually fucking works, because it worked for me. And I've seen it time and time and time and time and time and time and time again work for other people. I've got proof of that. Everybody is going to tell us that their thing works. So how do we know if it's going to work for us? We be discerning. I used to be somebody that would just throw money at programs because I was, and I think we've touched on this in a previous episode, because I was looking for that magical miracle mushroom unicorn thing that was going to support me to create 7 figures. Like, I was so focused on making money that I wasn't looking at anything else. Now, for me, after a while, I learned to become discerning. And now I'll only read books about specific things that I want to know, and I'm careful who is telling me what they're telling me, careful of the author I choose, and I'll only invest in programs where I feel like I get to learn a skill set. Otherwise, for me, it's like my inner wisdom, your inner wisdom, Jen's inner wisdom, your friend's inner wisdom. That is the greatest wisdom that we have. People are paving the way or they're following. People are leading or following. There's no in between. The other part for me, which was downloading just a second ago as well, and I loved this. It stayed with me since I heard it. I was interviewing a potential coach for myself.
Some coaches do not like to be interviewed. And I was interviewing a coach for myself, and he said to me, Allie, in the billionaire circles that I hang out in, we do not talk strategy, we talk frequency.
Yes, ma'am. That's a mic drop for me. That is the single biggest shift in my business. When I stopped attempting to focus on strategy first, and instead focused on my frequency, my vibration. What is the vibration that I'm bringing to this thing I'm about to do? Because if I'm coming from fear, if I'm coming from lack, if I'm worried about whether people will like it, if I'm worried about how many people will engage with it, I've already, in many ways, infected the piece of content that I'm about to put out there, or I've infected the strategy with a low frequency, with a low vibration. So energy first, your frequency, your vibration. What is it that has you want to get up and bounce into your business? And if you've forgotten what that is, I would highly encourage you to spend some time connecting back into what lights you the fuck up about the thing that you're about to do. What is your message for the world? What is the one thing that if you've just been handed a microphone and the world is listening, what do you want to say? What do you give a fuck about? What is the thing that burns a hole in your heart that is just so important for you? And it doesn't even have to be a life-changing thing. Some of the small things are the most life-changing thing. How do you manage your anxiety on a day-to-day basis? You know, that's something that I know for me, I do now innately. I used to experience a lot of anxiety on it, and you did too, Allie, on a day-to-day basis. And by now connecting into my energy and making that the biggest priority in my business, my energetics is the number one thing that I focus on in my business, making sure my energetics are on point. And if they're not, I do not show up in my business. If I am not in alignment, I do not show up in my business. I don't have it. Yeah.
Which goes against what a lot of people say, you should be showing up anyway. And that's working for them. I know for myself, I was able to create great success by not showing up a lot, by showing up when it felt good. Do you, boo? Do you?
Yeah.
There's another piece that was coming up for me just then around, I feel like we can get to this point where we're like, oh, this is the thing. This is the thing that's gonna have me become the millionaire. This is the thing that's gonna have me live a better life. This is the thing that's gonna save me. This is the thing. This program is the one that's gonna do it for me. And I feel like we forget that this is an ongoing journey. We do not arrive at the destination. We continue in our growth. We continue in our creation. We evolve. We get to pivot. We get to try on a hat, like Jen said before with the videos. Give video a go. If video doesn't light you up in every single cell of your body, perhaps writing does. If writing doesn't light you up in every single cell of your body, perhaps running live events does. You know, one of my students, Jen trained with, my Prac and Master Prac student, she didn't want to be in the online space. And I'm starting to lean towards this as well. She didn't want to be in the online space. She wanted to create in person. So she now has this beautiful group of women that come together for her programs and what she does. She's expanding out there. Her clients are coming through from word of mouth, from her having conversations with people. She's doing old school marketing. I love online. It has allowed me to create what I have been able to create in my life, not dissing that. I've got a lot of gratitude for the online space, and we get to do things in a way that feel good. And if anyone says to you, it might feel like shit for a while, like I would have a look at that.
Me too.
I would question that, because
it's not meant to feel like shit. Life is not meant to feel like shit.
It could be uncomfortable for a little while.
Yes.
And if you're dragging your feet, and if it's just something you do not want to do and it feels painful in your being, it makes you feel sick, then it's potentially not the thing for you. I have an exact example of this in a different context. I have been training and it hasn't been lighting me up. And I have been thinking, I was having this conversation this morning with somebody, I have been saying for the last couple of weeks, I'm not enjoying my training. I'm not enjoying my training. And this morning I had this epiphany with myself to go, fuck, I'm like complaining. I'm sitting here complaining about what I don't like. It's something that I choose to consciously not do in my life. Why the fuck am I still doing it? It's not bringing me joy. I'm glad it's only been a couple of weeks that I've been feeling this way. And now it's like I was going to start doing another training on top of that, because I love my training. Like I love what I do. And I'm at a point where I want to mix it up. I felt bored and I felt like I need something else. And I've just been talking about about that, not doing something about it. So this morning I made a move and I'm starting some other training as well. Just to mix it up. I like variety. If I keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again in my life, I can get bored, and I choose not to live in a state of boredom. So, bringing that back to business, what lights you the fuck up? What makes you feel good? What is that thing that's on your heart that you just want to get out to the world? And whatever's in the way of you doing that, clean that shit up. Clean it up, because someone is waiting to hear what you've got to say in your unique way. You matter. Your voice matters. Your message matters. It all matters.
Yeah, there is someone somewhere who will only hear the truth the way you tell it. One of my favorite quotes by the beautiful Linda Pesavento. I love that you brought that up, Allie. Something that I'd love to add in here. Being your authentic self in business, allow yourself to shift and flow and be malleable with your different identities as well. Know that you get to evolve and shift and change. Give yourself permission to try new things, do new things. If we lock ourselves into this is the only way I do business, then we're pinching off what else could be possible. We could be pinching off possible collaborations or joint ventures, or as you just so beautifully said, if you've only ever done things in the online space, what about doing something in the live space? If I look at the different versions and iterations of me that have been in business, every single one of them has served me so well until the frequency of that iteration began to dull. And then I allowed myself to find what else is there here? What else can I look at? Who else can I be? What else can I become? What else lights me up? Even the way I do business. I used to be this person that would be up and firing at 5 o'clock in the morning and not finish till 11 o'clock at night. I just do not do business that way anymore. It just doesn't feel good for me. I like to have conversations with people. I like to speak to people. I like to know what lights you up, and does that light us both up? And if so, we would be a really good match to work together if that's the case, So give yourself the grace and space to evolve and shift and shed and grow and pivot and evolve and all of those things. We're not here on this planet to be just one thing. I've said this before, we are on a rock hurtling through space at 1,000,000 miles an hour in a universe that's been evolving and growing and expanding for 13.8 billion years. We're not here to be just one thing. Allow yourself to grow and bend and evolve with your business. To me, that's what being your authentic self is. It's who am I in this moment.
Yeah. And I feel like we could almost close out here just on this next piece, unless you have some more.
No, I'm complete.
You might have some more after I share. We'll see.
We'll see.
So the way that I look at this, and I look at this with everything in my life, your business is an extension of you, and you get to create a relationship with it. How are you treating it? What is your expectation from it? And if you have high expectations on your business, but you're not giving to it, or you're complaining about it, or you're expecting more from it than what you're putting in, you're not co-creating with it, then how the fuck can any of us have what we truly desire in business? If you look at it like a relationship with a person, are you pouring love on your business? Are you speaking kindly to your business? Are you having conversations with your business in the way that you choose to have conversation? Are you
Grateful?
Yeah, are you grateful for your business? Oh my goodness, we can have so much expectation, and we can be in the every day we can get up and just do, and I'm sure some of you will relate to this, we can just do the same thing every single day. We get up. I think we have the same 14 thoughts a day or something, apparently. And in that we can do the same actions every single day. It's like, is that serving you? It's a great reminder for me too. Like, where in my life may I be doing that? I get just as much from these episodes. Yeah, just as much myself. So yeah, I feel like that's a piece that we could potentially close out on if you feel complete, Jen.
I do feel complete. And in as much as it does feel complete, I feel like it's also a beautiful segue to our next episode.
Me too. Next episode, we will be diving into the relationship we have with money.
Yeah, so come on back and join us for that episode.